Interesting fun fact.
A random fact for the people.
Yep, yep. So something really cool. World don't know. I just edited this shit out. Okay.
A fun fact about anything.
Yep.
Who's next? A fun fact. God damn. I didn't come prepared for the test. I come
I know
prepared
I
for this
have.
test.
You got one? Thinking about it. It's hard.
Yeah, so there's somewhere.
He came down really hard on his stomach and was holding that football in. My first thought is that he just got the wind knocked out of him, and hopefully, again, that's all it is. Again, this is not a very big school when it comes to student.
My fun fact would be
pretty close to one another. There's only
that
180
the country of Liberia
enrolled at
was originally created for black people in America to move out and go to. That's crazy.
I didn't know that.
The whole country in Africa was created, and it was pushed heavy. It was pushed heavy in like the 30s and 40s, the 1830s and 40s, but by the 60s with like the Civil War and shit like that, Abraham Lincoln was one of the niggas that he was pushing for this before he signed the Emancipation Proclamation. They was trying to get niggas like, all right, look, we could solve this issue by slavery could be legal, not in this motherfucker though. So the niggas that's victims of it, let's try to move you niggas out and go to Africa. Niggas was really trying to make us go back to Africa.
Some
Niggas in the
Marcus,
South wasn't having
Marcus
that
Garvey
shit.
type shit.
Yeah. That's where Garvey got it from.
I don't know about us being forced to go back, but if niggas want to go back,
Some niggas willingly went back, and they most died. Most of them died that willingly went back.
back then I'm definitely not making that journey. Like,
Yeah, that's a fucking push.
I'm definitely not making that journey.
Yeah, niggas definitely died.
No way. I know them conditions is terrible, terrible,
Crazy.
You know, they used to put niggas on the bottom of this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely not making that journey. Like, we gonna have to work this out. Like, you can get yours. Y'all can go on.
Right. This could be on y'all. This ain't finna be on me.
Yeah, I ain't the one. Yeah, I'm not the one. I'm not making that journey.
Right.
Let me draw the boat. Put me in the captain's court.
Shotgun.
Right. Facts. Top dead. Good. But yeah, that's how that's kind of what the name come from though. Liberia, liberty.
That's all I was
like,
thinking.
Yeah, liberty, like freedom land. You feel me? Basically, like.
Third down and 10 now. Remember the
That's
last
crazy.
time?
Like niggas never tell you that story. Like when you learn about wars and shit like that, they don't tell you little shit like that. That's significant. That's not tiny. That's very significant when you tell the story like why niggas was really beefing. What happened? Like that's part of what really happened.
A lot of that depends on who the message is coming from too, because it definitely sounds different coming from Marcus Garvey than coming from, you feel me, like Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
You feel me, like on one hand it sounds like they're telling you like get your ass out of here,
Yeah, get out of here,
back to Africa. And on the other hand, you got like it's like it was a movement. You feel me, Marcus Garvey? It was a movement. Like let's go back, even like Malcolm X and like they used to say, I don't know if they used to preach per se back to Africa, but they definitely used to preach like having our own.
Yep.
You feel me? Like we weren't gonna be able to operate within their society, like within their parameters type shit. So we gotta have our own type shit.
That's right.
But again, so many changes in
Right? Like, how did they even get a section of Africa to begin with? Like, they sent niggas over like the Queen, like the Queen of England type
for
shit.
who to
Like,
get it?
Liberia, like how did Liberia like
Oh,
who were you
okay.
telling niggas to go to this part of Africa? Like,
That shit go back to. Have you ever heard of the Scramble of Africa? The Scramble for Africa. Have you ever heard of that?
before Africa.
The Scramble for Africa. Low-key, I think it was around the same time. I'm not sure about that. I'm like 90% sure, like that low-key, that shit was at the same time. But niggas, literally, basically what you said, it was all, pretty much every major European country that you can name. Every single one. I kid you not, 100%. Every single one you can name.
Oh,
They were all in Africa, shooting shit up, taking shit, really killing shit, like... Yep, they all went there at the same fucking time. That's partially what led into World War One. Niggas don't know that. The Scramble for Africa low-key led into World War One. Not majorly. It was a minor issue that led into World War One. Niggas was fighting for power. Everybody broke. Everybody trying to figure out how not to be broke. And then niggas got on the gold standard in like the 1870s. But then niggas got off that shit by the early 1900s. So niggas was like, money is an issue. That's part. That whole money was largely why niggas was in Africa anyway. They was trying to build empires. We finna get gold, diamonds. All this shit had just become popular. Niggas trying to go wherever they can in Africa, hold their little land down, keep it pushing. Like the UK and France, they was like, in terms of land, they own like the most amounts of it. But then Germany started coming up. Germany is kind of looked at as the culprit for World War One because they was like the major industrial power of the world. Like it wasn't always that. It was always the UK, and now it's these niggas. It's like, hold on, we them niggas. And so that clash internally, which is why those wars is also called like the European wars. That shit low key like all started because of that. Like niggas was trying to get whatever we could get in Africa, and eventually tension spilled over to
It's
where
a rich land.
now it's up.
It's
Yeah,
rich
that's a
land.
fact.
Like they got diamonds, you feel me?
Everything,
All of that, all of
everything
that.
you could imagine needing, Africa has.
It's like the gold rush in the U.S. Everybody rushing in California. You feel me? Like wherever there is opportunity, I guess you want to say, like people gonna rush it. And in this case, it just happened to be a whole ass country, multiple countries. You feel me? Fighting for limited resources. Limited resources.
Right.
That's a fact.
I do believe some resources are limited. How do y'all feel about that? So some people think that like the government and businesses is lying when they say certain shit is scarce, but then other niggas really is like
On what scale though? Like
on a
it
world
depends
scale.
on what scale.
Do you think
like,
the world's
it's as scarce as they
resources
make
are
it.
scarce?
It's as scarce as they make it. Like we still find digging up gold miners. You feel me? Like gold is still, you feel me, being found on the regular.
But there's gonna be less of it. The more houses we build, the more real estate get built. If not a gold mine, it's gonna be something else. Which when you think about opportunity costs, now all of a sudden we don't have the opportunity to find X amount of gold. There's some gold probably on top of, under some of these houses up here. We ain't gonna never find them because we can't just go tear down niggas' houses and then dig up the dirt just on the hope of gold. So the more real estate that's built, the more schools is built, the more hospitals is built. Niggas don't got the land to just go find some gold. So at some point,
I don't
it
know.
becomes
Gold
damn
is
near
just
impossible.
everywhere like that. Like I don't know. We just building like. It gotta
Nevada's
be, like,
one of the world's leading producers of gold.
Yeah, facts. But
If fucking Nevada got a lot of gold, there's a lot of places that got a lot of gold and niggas ain't saying that. That's what I think. Nevada is one of the top 5 global producers of gold in the world. That in the country, in the world. Gold has to be more plentiful than they say.
right.
But we start running out of the opportunity because Nevada is still nothing but desert. Niggas got the opportunity to go get that gold, which is what I'm saying. If it's a state that's full of fucking shit, it's farmland, it's hella people here, so it's hella shit here now. Now niggas don't got desert to just go dig up. Vegas is hella desert. Niggas go put a hole in the ground right now. In another state, you might be digging somebody's front yard up, shit like that. So
Yeah,
it's like,
niggas was on that grizzly. Niggas would have been digged up all the dirt for these niggas.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
It's still part of, you feel me, Vegas.
I don't even can you legally go out there?
Yeah,
Oh, like
start
all the
digging,
way out there and just start
digging,
digging,
like,
yeah.
Sure, some of it's like owned by the government.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, what's not
Or
owned
they
by
got
them?
snipers watching you or
I don't want to be the nigga to find out.
Right,
It looked like a bush. The branch started moving and it aimed at me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't live to tell the fucking tale. Like
Elon Musk been digging holes underground for the past few years.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So who's to
They
say?
just approved that tunnel right off the street.
Yeah, facts. Who's to say what's legal, what's not? Shit, it's land. You gonna dig it up like. Only they can use shovels and shit. Only they can dig shit up. Like,
what if that is the rule though? Niggas had to get permission to dig up. Like, that's not far fetched.
They gotta show me. They gotta show me they deed.
What'd you go to jail for?
Where they purchased the land.
Digging government dirt.
Right, I'm
Yeah, like,
with the what's that?
the metal detector. That shit crazy.
High ho, silver.
Fact.
What they gonna do? Shit. Oh, you can probably hit a lick out there for sure. I don't know if it's just, I don't know if I believe you can just go dig anywhere and go like I feel like it gotta be like a environment for it, like it's in certain places like don't they be digging for gold like in rivers type shit with the little basket, you feel me, like in the river and like shift through
I don't know that. You might be right, but to that point I will say it's not like Nevada has a million water resources. And I know for a fact that they aren't digging up where we go get our water. I know for a fact they not at the motherfucking Lake Mead. I'm pretty sure about that.
I think our pipeline we having to borrow water from like the Midwest.
Yeah, this shit is really getting bad. People are sleep on this. Like we are running out of water. Clean water. The world will never run out of water. It's physically impossible. Clean water is harder to access. That's what niggas mean when we say run out of water.
Get your filters out.
Fact. That Brita.
Right.
They need a couple of those.
Alright, that's what it's gonna be for real.
Fact. Nah, real talk.
Yes, sir. But anyway, man, y'all trying to start the show or what?
Yeah, man. Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the 4th episode of the Fiddler Footsteps podcast. Y'all already know who I bees. Big Weez.
Yeah, it's your boy Diesel, there, Barely Flair in the flesh.
And it's just Elijah.
Yes, sir. It's
Just do it. You feel me?
Yes, sir. But yeah, we back with another episode. Fiddler Footsteps podcast. We back again. Ready to bring it to y'all, get y'all some good game. Talk about some pop culture topics and all of the above. You know, just here to kick game, man.
Absolutely.
So, like we did last episode, man, we're gonna kick it off with a little financial literacy for the people. Just to call back to last week, we talked about money psychology as a place to begin your journey as far as financial literacy goes, and taking it to the next step after you get your mind right, get it in your mind that you want to focus on making a change. The next thing we want to talk about is budgeting.
Yep, 100%.
Y'all want to kick it off?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. I had a couple questions to ask y'all. So, just like you said, last week, I feel like in the process of like financial literacy, it should start with like the mind type shit. That's why we started it. Like, why do you, like the question we asked was, why do you approach money the way you do? I feel like, how often have you ever been asked that? How often do you reflect on that question? You know, like who has really asked you like, damn, why do I feel, some people come in the world wanting to save. They like, nah, I'm holding on everything I got. I feel like you influenced by that, but like what happened? You know, I feel like a lot of people don't really like reflect on things like that. And so that's why I feel like that's necessary to start there. It starts with that why. Because once you answer that, now you got everything. You already know the who, your ass, right? Like, you know the what, I'm broke because of my habits. Why though? How do I fix these things? And you know, like, and then when you really start breaking it down, that's how you kind of get results. So I think once you get to step two kind of is that budgeting topic. You know, it's different from saving because this is really like your game plan now. And I hate the way I hate how common the word budgeting is used because
they got a negative connotation.
Yeah, people are scared of it. And on top of that, they don't take it serious. It's so thrown out there that people kind of like brush that shit off. And I hate that people do that shit because it's like, that's your backbone. Like, learning, I had to learn that as an adult, having a kid early, like you'll learn early, like, I gotta figure something out. That budget helps you figure everything out. If you can make it make sense with the numbers, life is pretty much easy. It's pretty much resisting your temptations and your urges by that point. But if you can come up with a budget that's realistic and work, what, like, that is one of the greatest achievements of your adulthood, of your early stages of adulthood, is coming up with a budget you can stick to and actually make progress with. I think that's crazy. How y'all feel about it?
So what's the simplest way to explain what a budget is?
What a budget is?
Yeah.
A budget is a game plan. It's a strategy. It's being calculated in everything that you do. Like I said last week, it's a business. Like every business got a budget. Billionaires got a budget. Everybody got you have to have a budget. You got a budget whether you know it or not. Whatever your weekly paycheck is,
Right.
Whether you spending that whole thing or you saving part of whatever, you already on a budget. So it's just being more calculated about where your money goes, how you spend your money. Yeah, you talked about saving money. You can't save money without a budget. Or you got a budget to save money.
Right.
What would be your definition of a budget?
Me?
Yeah.
If I had to put that shit in like real short, sweet terms, I say something like it's your blueprint. Just like how you called it a game plan. I was something along those lines. Like this is your map. Anything I want to do, I could do it if it makes sense. Like if I come up with an actual plan for that shit, I'm like, all right, I want to do this, A, B, C, D, E, all the way to Z. If it makes sense, you could do it. And so I think like when it comes to everything, like if I want an apartment, you start saving for that. I want a house, I want a car, I want a new phone, I want shoes, I want clothes. When you start thinking about all aspects of your life that connect to money, if you don't got a plan for that money, how are you attaining these things? How are you getting where you want to be or where you need to be? At some point, by the time you're an adult, there are certain things you need to have. If you don't got your affairs in order, I feel like I don't know the statistics. I'm sure 99% of people who don't got their affairs in order don't have a budget, don't have a money plan or a money guide to follow and stick to every week, 2 weeks, month, year, type shit like that. I didn't, so like I could totally understand how somebody, you never the only one in your position. There's always somebody just like you going through the same shit. You feel me? So if I made certain experiences as a 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, whatever year old, somebody else is that same age, probably younger, probably older. Like if there's 5 people for every mistake you made, there's 5 people that made the same one. So if I'm making these same mistakes and I'm not learning from it, or it's taking me a long time to learn from something, somebody else probably also is deprived of that information, deprived of that discipline, deprived of making their dreams and wants a reality. Like your budget really does all of that. When you really think about it, like how can this be real if I'm not working towards it? So I think your budget, it makes things real. Like that shit really is your end all be all. Really, like if you think about how everything is connected to the flexibility you give yourself.
Or would you say that you budget? You have a budget? Would you say that you budget?
Yeah, I say a budget. I'm not extremely calculated with it, but I do have a certain amount of money that I save each pay period, and then I have like a limit. I have a certain amount of money that I need to have left off of my last pay period.
Okay.
I like it like that. It don't need to be complicated. Keep it simple. All you need to know is how much.
Yeah.
Like if you think about, I just need to know how much I got, how much I spent, how much I'm gonna spend, how much I'm gonna save, how much I'm not gonna spend. If you can answer shit like that, it don't gotta be all complicated. Some people go that route where it's like 10, 15 categories. That if it work, it work. But if I'm spending this on whatever I'm gonna spend it on, but I'm gonna save this much. That's a budget. Like you good. Like it could be that simple.
It could be that
I
simple.
think the negative connotation has to do with a lot of people feel like it's probably limiting yourself, and at a certain extent it is, but it's to reach a greater goal. Like it's not supposed to be something that's just holding you back from living your best life possible.
It's something
that's supposed to help you build so that you can get to that stage in your life. So I think that's where the negative connotation comes from. What else was I about to say? Go ahead and speak.
Oh, you straight.
You can't have a goal without a budget on, like a financial goal without a budget. Like if you working a 9 to 5, you feel me, you know about what you gonna make.
Right.
Give or take every pay period, every 2 weeks, a week, whatever you get paid. And like you said, as adults, we all got different wants and needs and goals and shit like that. So, like, it's just a calculation. It's just a simple calculation to make it work. You feel me? Like, a budget doesn't have to be like it is. I guess you could say it's limiting, like you said, but it doesn't have to be a negative thing. Like, I want to spend, like, everybody got monthly expenses. I need to spend this much on groceries. Like, my mortgage or my rent or whatever costs this much. How much do I have left over at the end of the day? What are my goals? What else am I trying to get outside of my needs? You feel me?
Right.
So you kind of gotta, like, if I want this, and maybe I can knock $50 or something off the groceries every time I go to the store.
Right.
Or you feel me? I could whatever corners you could cut to make your goals a reality. You feel me? Like, a budget is not a bad thing. It's simply a tool that you use to help you attain your goals, your financial goals.
Okay.
That's all I'll say on that. Like, and it's different ways you could go about budgeting. Like, it's a whole bunch of, if you look up, it's a whole bunch of, like, general rules of thumbs out there that I've heard over time. Like, whatever works best for you. Like, you got like the 50-30-20 rule. Like, whatever you getting paid, what is it? Live off 50% of it, meaning your mortgage, your groceries, all of the needs. Live off 50% of your check. 30% on lifestyle, like your clothes, going out to eat, the movies, you feel me, family stuff, and then save 20% type shit. So it's rules like that, but it all goes back to whatever your goals are. Like,
right.
When I was working on a 9 to 5 job, like, my goal was to get out of that as soon as possible. So I'm saving or investing 90 to 95 to even sometimes 100% of my check. Because that's where my goals led me. You feel me? Like, a budget is your own personal. It doesn't have to be bad. It's whatever you make it. You feel me? It's whatever you want it to be. Like, I know I can live. I only need $100 off my check, and I can live until the next paycheck. Like, that's how I was living. You feel me? Like, I wasn't no extravagant spender. You feel me? Like, cause I knew what I was trying to do. I need to invest over here, over there. So I got different incomes and stuff like that. So that I could eventually move on from the 9 to 5, move on with my life.
Right. So, what do y'all think are, like? Cause I asked like, my little sister, she spent I think $26 at the fucking ice cream truck. My mom told me this story, and this was like a year ago. I swear to God, but this happened.
But she fed the whole hood.
Friend, what you want? Get 2 threes.
A
gang of friends. I don't blame her for the generosity, but
I respect.
Nigga, rule 1.
Man,
don't go broke. Like,
right, feeding, yeah.
Spend all of it, okay? But so I say that to say, have you ever, like, reflected on spending triggers for yourself? Like, do you have spending triggers, or do you feel like there are some that you did have that you overcame? Shit like that. Like me, I'm a wanderer. My spending trigger is like, I probably wouldn't even think about that shit, but because I saw it, I'm gonna pick it up.
Yeah.
I went to the gas station for some chips. Yeah. I got some chocolate in my hand. Now I got a Gatorade. I got some beef jerky.
Yeah.
I'm like, nigga, I came in here for some chips.
Same for you.
Like,
especially, I'm a pretty impulsive spender. And I even have a budget for that. Like, I know I'm gonna spend some money. Like, I'm not gonna not touch this money.
On me, I got a little miscellaneous
category
in my head. I have a number that where if I'm getting close to that number, then it's like, all right, I gotta cut myself off.
Facts.
Especially when it comes to food, because
man, that's my thing.
I'll be scrolling through Postmates like, damn, this looks good.
Hey, that's my thing too. Not so much the snacks. I'm not like a super snacker. You feel me? Like, if I go in the gas station, I'm probably not. I don't really do candy and stuff like that. But food in general, for sure. Like Postmates. I got all the Postmates, Uber Eats, DoorDash. I'm scrolling through it all.
Sometimes I'll look at like what the delivery fee and the taxes fee is, and I'll be like, damn,
Be
this
like,
might be worth it.
fuck it.
I put it on the face of this.
Hey, like,
I'm
shit,
hungry, then.
I know I ain't about to drop over there and get it.
Fact.
Make it to the door. Shoot, I'll throw him a little. And that shit do get expensive. That shit is expensive.
Oh,
like
fact.
we joking, but that
yeah,
shit
but
is,
in all seriousness,
in all
that
seriousness,
shit
that
add
shit
up.
is expensive.
$25 for a $10 burger.
Fact.
Bro, I swear to God. I swear to God, and I'm terrible with that, cause I'm gonna be honest, like I'll be like shit. If cause I am somewhat, I got a little bit of discipline where I don't do it like all the time. But if I do make up my mind, like I'm a DoorDash, I'm a whatever, I'm gonna go in. You feel me?
Fact, I'm going for the gusto. I'm making this shit count.
Because they charge you so much, all the fees and shit, they end up being more than the meal. So I'll be like, fuck that, man. If I'm you feel me, y'all charging me whatever to deliver it, I'm gonna go crazy anyway. I'm
gonna spend $100.
Right, I'm gonna try
justify this $10 fee.
I'm gonna try everything on the menu then. Fuck it, I'm only gonna have this one, so I'm gonna try to hold
Order
that.
every side. I need extra sauce.
Right, the drinks, the desserts, everything.
Facts.
Shit.
I'm going crazy.
Man, just last weekend, shit, I had to DoorDash a hood favorite. I had to DoorDash the Mario's Catfish.
What? They DoorDash Mario's?
What? Nigga?
That's crazy.
A real?
I would never risk my life going to Mario's.
It was a real West Side nigga. They brought me off.
Oh, that's why.
I seen. I'm looking at the name. You feel me? It's Henry. I'm thinking it's about to be some white dude. It's a real, you feel me? You know, a real West Side cat. Like, you see where, like, he came, like, you feel me? He was having trouble. Like, I looked. Like, yeah, you alert, like, they close by and shit, and then, you feel me, I ain't, like, the type to be just, like, watching it, but you get the alert they close, and then there was a little bit of time passed by, I'm like, damn, where this nigga at, you feel me, but it was, like, you know how my neighborhood is, he was kind of, like, on the wrong side of the building and shit, so I go outside, open the garage, and he walking out from my, like, I guess he had finally found my door, you know, I was like, oh, I appreciate you. He was like, you feel me? Like, ooh, this your shit? Like, you feel me? I'm like, yeah, appreciate you, my boy. You feel me? Like, real, you feel me? You got the beanie on. You feel me? You can just tell.
Right.
Know, that's where I grew up at, so I just know. Like, he was already hanging out at Mario's type shit. Like,
it was already there. Like, damn, you want some Mario's too? Hey, let me get some more fish, man. This one ain't for you, though.
I was like, I'm going to have Mario's in a minute, so I have to go crazy. Got the pound of fish, you feel me? You feel me? Yeah. Crazy. Got me a little peach cobbler, you feel me?
Man, the peach cobbler and they pork chops. I used to go crazy.
Yeah, I got the bars, peach cobbler with it.
$10.
I had to get the bars. But yeah, so that's definitely I would say it's my main, like, impulse bad habit type of deal. It's food for sure. It's like, you know, with all the fees and shit. I be hungry, you feel me? I'm a big dude. Like, I be eating, I'm hungry. You gotta eat. But just making the positive decision, like, all right, making the right decisions at most, like 90% of the time, 95% of the time, just you gotta make the smarter decision. Like I said, calculating, man. Once every here and there is cool, but for the most part, you feel me? I'll just go across the street, man. If I gotta eat out, go across the street, man. Hop on that dollar menu. But I'm for sure, like, after I bought the Mario's, I for sure made a conscious decision. Like, I went grocery shopping probably the next day, and you feel me? Like, I made great decisions. You feel me? Saved a little money on my usual grocery budget. Like, made sure I got shit that was sustain me through the week, so I didn't have to eat out at all for the next week or whatever, week or so. You feel me? Make sure I got all my rice and protein and shit, so I can be cool at the house. You feel me? You don't gotta worry about eating out.
Fact. What you think make that shit so hard though? Like,
with controlling the
why
impulses,
why is it so hard to control your impulses, or why is it hard to really plan something out for yourself? Like,
it's just so accessible.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That shit
like,
is
it's
there.
If a drug addict just had a needle right there all day long, like,
I'm gonna poke myself.
Yeah.
That's true. I ain't finna poke myself. I understand somebody adopting that.
If that's your thing.
Yeah, I'm poke free around this motherfucker.
I think that's it though. It's just because, like you said, it's accessible. It's there. I think that's the perfect answer right there. It's there. It's accessible.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's hard to make what you say to make a budget or whatever. I think was the hard part of like following through with following through with it. Yeah, committing to it. Like being
hard
it's the discipline. It's the discipline. Like actually writing some shit down or something is the easy part. It's the actual follow through. The discipline is kind of tough. It's kind of tough. It's like you said, it's right there. Like, man, if you got the money to do it, you're gonna do it. Like you're not thinking like this is not gonna be this is not helping my end of the year goal, my end of the month goal, or whatever. You just here, I got it. It's here, so I'm gonna do it, and shit, I'm gonna make it back. I guess you feel me. You don't really realize how much you're holding yourself back.
How do you go about helping somebody overcome that? Like how we just talked about, how you just said it's the development that discipline, right? We looked at it as kind of like, I always call myself OG Gen Z because we are the oldest generation of Gen Z, right? And so if we looking at 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds still in college, 21, 22-year-olds probably fresh out. There's certain shit in regards to adulthood and money that they just like, you got to experience to learn that shit. You gonna fuck up, you gonna make a decision you regret, you gonna do whatever. Us being the people that have already been there, done that, how can we kind of rechannel that shit and give that back to people that are 5 years younger than us? Like, hey, look, I did this as an adult. Don't fucking do that. Like, do this. You know, like how if we can acknowledge now at 23, 24 years old, we can say, okay, discipline was a super large issue. How do we keep the next group from running into that same problem? You know, like, we ain't gonna be able to mitigate everything. Like I just said, you gotta experience something to really go through it and change and learn from it. But some things can be kind of accurately communicated just through words. I can understand some precautions to take just by having those conversations. So like, what advice could you give somebody to really help them feel like, okay, I really understand the necessity in developing discipline and sticking to this and being committed to it? Like what experience or tidbit can you really help them feel like, all right, if I spoke this to somebody, they'd receive that message and I feel better about them acting the right way that they kind of should.
It's a couple of things for me, and they kind of overlap. So you have to have a priority system, and you have to have like some type of higher purpose. I think we kind of talked about it in the last episode of having like, you can't just be making money just to make money.
That's a fact.
You need to have a purpose.
Millie J, the gym dropper.
And if you have if you have both of those things, it kind of makes it a lot easier to instill that discipline in yourself, because the things that we break that discipline for don't really matter. Like, in the long run, it doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah, we do have to eat to survive, but we could have eaten something at the house to survive.
Man.
We wanted that, whatever we got, that fried rice, the catfish. We wanted to get that. Like, we wanted to just satisfy ourselves.
You ain't gotta call me out like that.
Darius, man.
A pound of catfish.
Alright.
Shoot at you.
I fucked it up too.
That shit sound fire, though.
I fucked it up too. Yeah, we don't gotta do it, but shit.
And then, like, the priority system, like, my priority system goes, for me, it goes God, myself, or whoever you believe in. I just say God because that's the most common. God, myself, family, friends. So if you think about, if that thought process was in your mind for every important decision you made, like, say somebody's about to risk their entire future just to make some money, like off of some robbing or selling drugs or something. If they thought about, what would God think about, how is this affecting me, and then how am I affecting my family with this decision, I think a lot of people would make a different decision. Like, if that thought was in the back of their head, like, the entire time, and it held a lot of value, and then you also have your higher purpose, like, how is this decision gonna affect my higher purpose? Whatever it is. I think that would
That's a fact. It's about it's basically just being conscious. You feel me? Like having that consciousness, because that's easy to say, but like you gotta really be conscious about that and make that type of thinking a habit. You know, where you think about that in every decision you make.
Right.
So, like I'll say for me personally, I can say what I did personally, because self discipline is a mug. You feel me? Like that's really a hard thing to overcome. Like not eating out all the time, not whatever. That's really a hard thing to overcome. But it's like, for me personally, it was just like it's a everyday, it's a day-to-day thing, kind of like fighting an addiction. You feel me? It's a everyday thing. It's a choice, each choice type of thing. You feel me? So for me, I just like I don't want to get too deep. You feel me? Into my own personal shit, but it's like some spiritual type shit, like self-reflective.
Yeah.
Meditational type of time. Like so I'm like I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to get too deep into my own shit, but that's I felt like that's a big part of life though. Like meditating, being self-aware. You feel me? Like the shit that you feed in yourself. You feel me? That you listening to.
Word.
All of that. Like I just make sure I always every day hear like we talked about writing everything down. Like I write down all over. I got all over the place. Like just little tidbits, random shit. Like advice to myself kind of type of deal, you feel me? Like, just so I'm always aware and always conscious and always, like, thinking, like, always kind of, like, overthinking, like, making sure that I overthink this decision, you feel me? Like, not just impulsively doing something, but actually forcing myself to overthink something. So it's just like this. It's a conscious thing, man, what you feeding yourself. Making sure that you hearing the right things all the time so that you feel me? Actively thinking about whatever it is that you're doing, man, because that shit is hard, bro. When it comes to everything, you feel me? When it comes to everything in life. But yeah, spiritual, man, meditation, all of that, it all matters, man. It all matters. That's what helped me, at least, you feel me?
Right. I feel that. I like that. Which I think, like, do you think there's a such thing as, like, a bad way to budget? Like a do's and don'ts of budgeting, what you should and should not be doing. Just like you said, it's a daily battle. So on a daily basis, what should I or shouldn't I be doing on the daily? And that's pretty much my last question about this.
A bad way to budget. That was tough.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, the budgeting should have an end goal. You can't just be budgeting just because you're greedy and you don't want to spend the money.
Right.
Money's got to go somewhere. Like,
I like that.
you just holding on to money. Like, somebody could be using that money. Like, and you just sitting on it.
That's a good ass takeaway. Like, to really have an end goal with your budget.
Yeah.
Don't just have one. Like, why?
It could be to get to the next step. Like you said, if you don't want to work a 9 to 5 anymore, the budget could be to where you can get to a comfortable spot, and you can start your own business, become an entrepreneur, whatever. It could be you're saving up for a new house. It has to be something. If you're just saving money, just to save money, you're being greedy. Like, you're holding on to a bunch of money that people could be using. You could be helping your family out. You could be helping yourself out. Anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I ain't gonna say it's a bad budget, you feel me? Like, if you budget, then you budget, then you doing
Yeah, that's why I thought
what you want to do.
That's why I'm asking.
Just as long as you, like, just have your priorities straight, man. As long as it's what you want to do, it's your priorities. You saving for what you want to save for. You spending on what you want to spend. Like, you consciously want to do this. You constantly want to save for this. I don't know if it's a such thing as a bad budget.
Yeah.
Like, if you budgeting, you budgeting. It's a such thing as not budgeting, that's
That's
bad.
But
if you got a budget, like, I can't say that there's a such thing as a bad budget. No. What you feel?
I feel the same way. That's what made me want to ask, because at first thought it was like, there's a good and bad to everything, right? But then as my brain really started kind of reflecting on it, just like you said, you could not be budgeting. Like, that's as worse as it get, right? And so I'm like, well, if a person is budgeting, even if minimal, there's progress there. There's intent there. There's an attempt there. You know, like there's so much good that comes out of that, even if it's not optimal. You know, there's so much good that it can't possibly be viewed as bad. So I'd agree with that. That's what made me want to ask. You know, like how do y'all feel about that? Like in terms of good and bad. Like this might be one example where there's no bad way. There's a less than ideal way to do it. You know, there's always improvements.
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
just outright doing it. You know, I don't think there is a bad way to do it.
I agree with that.
That's a fact. That's a fact. The last thing I would say is just because there's no set number or nothing I can give you. Like I said, it's up to you. But just my only advice, I guess, would be, because most people don't think like this, is to think of your budget in terms of percentages, as opposed to like just a flat out dollar amount. You feel me? Like a percentage of your income, and use that as setting your goals. You feel me? Like thinking percentages as opposed to dollars.
That's a great takeaway too. That's probably one of the most important things, but also one of the toughest to accept, because everybody is fixated on dollar signs and money.
It's a little extra work.
It's tough to like.
Extra work you gotta do though.
Like $1,000 sound good. Everybody wants 6 figures.
Yeah,
that term sound
numbers,
good.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to get somebody's brain to think about percentages. You don't really understand the significant strides that can be made. That just like a term like compound interest, simple interest, things like that. People don't even understand terms like that, so they never appreciate percentages. They don't understand the idea that percentages can build on top of each other and grow to what you couldn't even imagine or fathom. You know, they don't get that foundation to really understand or appreciate percentages and how like 10%. They don't understand like that's significant on any level of any percent, anything that involves percents. That's a significant thing, and somebody might get discouraged by that and feel like I could be doing more, even if that's realistic. 10% might be realistic. It might be overly. It might be not. It might be unrealistic. You trying too much. You too optimistic.
Right.
But if $200 is unrealistic, but it's even if it's less than 10% or more, like whatever, niggas will always go for that dollar sign. It's hard to really get them to understand the idea of going for this much. No matter how much I got, I need to pull in this much of this. They'll never, ever, ever really appreciate that.
My personal budget has actually never changed, regardless of how much money I've ever made at different points in my life. You feel me? My budget was always the same because it was percentage based. Like, my budget was always the same because it's percentage based. Like, I want to save or put away 80% of what I'm making. And that's just me personally. That's not realistic for everybody. You feel me? That's me personally. 80 to 90% of whatever I'm making, and that's facts. That's still, you feel me, something I'm going by. I go by today. Like, you feel me? Got to pay bills and all of that type of stuff. But what's actually mine. It's like I don't consider my mortgage and groceries and shit. I don't really consider that as part of my take home. You feel me? Like just like Uncle Sam take his out like that. I pay myself immediately like that, or I take all of that shit out immediately like that. Even with the shit I'm saving, you feel me? Like I said, I pay myself first. Like my mortgage over here, that's not my bread. That's you feel me? The credit union bread, like that's down. Whatever I'm investing, that's there. You feel me? And then I got my take home. You feel me? What I could play with, what I could, you know. What I could.
Yeah, he put it on his ass.
Cause he been talking crazy the whole.
Yeah, he has. He been talking real reckless. But
that's a big boy right there.
Yeah,
I was trying to stay.
Yeah, when I saw, I said, shit.
Yeah. He still.
Yeah. He put his ass down. That shit hurt, nigga. Sincerely, nigga. That shit hurt. Sincerely, nigga.
Right.
His ass put down.
Toe up. Then you come to check on these
nigga said, I need some Gatorade.
Yeah, that's all bad. That's all bad, man.
Damn.
But yeah, man. Anybody got anything else on budget, or that's a wrap on that?
Yeah, man. That's pretty much all I wanted to chop it up with about budgeting. You know, like carry on with this little progression. Next episode will be about saving, where we'll really break down how to save, why you should save, why you shouldn't, Because there's an argument for that. Why you shouldn't save your money. You know, just like how you just talked about, like, coming up with a plan with the money, doing something with it. You know, like, that's what banks do. You know, the money that you save in the bank, they're going to take it and spend it and come up with a plan for it.
So stay tuned for that.
Right.
For Southie. So let's get into some of these topics, man.
So I ain't get to watch all of the Akademiks interview, but I did watch most of it.
DJ Akademiks was on $1 million worth.
Oh yeah.
For those who don't know,
shout out Gilly, Wallow.
Shout out Gilly and Wallow, man, doing their thing over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's big. Them lost like when Titans of the culture collide. You feel me?
Yeah. Crossover episode.
Yeah, crossover episode. It was a lot of takeaways from the episode. Like, I don't know where y'all want to start it.
Y'all can pioneer it since y'all watched it. I mean, how'd y'all feel about it? Like, I definitely want to discuss the beefs. Not only the Mysonne beefs, but just like how you said he had other beefs.
Freddie
I want to talk
Gibbs,
about those. Yeah, but then like the overall interview, like from what I watched, in general, it was great. From what I've seen so far, it was dope as fuck to really watch. Cause like, Ak is never the one being interviewed. He is the one giving interviews or the one giving commentary. Even on Twitch, he's giving that commentary. You know, he got off the record where he's conducting that interview. He was just on No Jumper. He was getting interviewed, but like those are rare.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He been on a little run. Being on other people's platforms.
Fact. So it's good to see him on like the other side of the.
This was definitely one of the top ones of the little run he been on. Like, I really fucked with this interview. I mess with DJ Akademiks. In general, you feel me? Like, everybody in the culture be on his head, man. Right. But he a solid dude. Like I told you earlier, it's just between street. I'm trying not to cuss something. Between street dudes and you feel me, just real dudes, real people, you know. And I think Akademiks he be keeping it real, man. He don't back down to nobody no more and none of that. Like, he say what's on his mind. So yeah, I think it was just a good interview in general. That's my thoughts on the interview in general. But if y'all want to get to the shits, man, the beef and shit, like.
Yeah, let's see how you feel about the overall interview, and then we could get right into the.
I enjoyed the interview as well. I have a couple of thoughts about DJ Akademiks, just because. So I was a fan of DJ Akademiks before. Like, DJ Akademiks was what kind of introduced me into Joe Budden.
Fact.
The Joe Budden podcast.
Yeah, I'd say that too. He introduced me to
I was like an OG chat.
Yeah.
I was an OG chat nigga. Like, I was in those Twitch streams with all the IG thoughts.
Yeah.
Like,
see, I was the opposite. I was already on Joe Budden, and then I came on Akademiks. Like, I knew him from the Warren Chirac type shit. Seeing those randomly. But like, that's when I really got in tune with Akademiks, was when they met on Everyday Struggle.
I watched all the videos. I remember like when he was covering the game, and y'all remember Stitches?
Yeah.
Oh, that shit. Like,
Stitches got beat up.
I remember all that shit.
Whack.
And then as I got older, I kind of felt like I was kind of outgrowing his content. Like, as a person, like as I got more mature, it just wasn't as entertaining as it was.
Right.
And then I kind of went full circle back to him now, just because he's an entertainer.
Yeah, through and through.
And I think his ceiling is so high, and I've seen the same thing from Joe Budden. They both just have certain qualities about themselves that is kind of self-sabotaging, to the point where I thought Joe Budden could get so much higher. I thought he could have been better than Joe Rogan. Now I don't think that'll ever happen. I think it's said and done for him. He's 40 years old, and a lot of the same mistakes that he was making years ago is the same mistakes he's making today as a 40-year-old man. I kind of see the same thing with Akademiks, but I still think there's time for him to like grow and
get out of that self-sabotage.
I feel like a lot of these rap beefs are just holding him back. I don't think he can.
I get into that bag.
I think he can.
Fact.
I think he can go outside of hip hop. I think he can be just a media personality, an executive.
I agree with that. The shit that his antics are kind of confining him to one space.
Yeah.
He gonna dominate that space and really thrive.
Does he want to expand
that's
that?
That's also a great question. He don't need to.
What he love. That's
he's
what
comfortable where he's
that's
at.
a fact.
That's fine.
That's a
but
fact.
he feel me? Like he fuck with hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, he don't gotta want to expand all the other BS or whatever going on. But I get that point though. He could be bigger, you feel me? But at the same time, I'm not into telling niggas what they
That's a fact.
what they should be and shouldn't be doing, especially niggas with a bigger bag than me, you feel me? That's a fact.
True.
Like I get into his bag.
Yeah, that nigga up. That nigga's getting some money for sure. I love to see that.
They talked about that in the interview, you feel me? Like they say they gave him like 14 or 15 million or something.
Damn.
He didn't confirm, he didn't deny it either. He was like, but you could tell from it, like, how y'all know?
Yeah.
Like, who y'all talking to? Like, that's all. Yeah, about 14, 15 million.
Yeah.
On Spotify, like, yeah, they got into all of that. But specifically, he was talking about his beefs with Mysonne, Freddie Gibbs, and his former beef with Meek Mill. You feel me?
Yeah.
My personal opinion, like, I can only, you feel me, take what they're telling us, you feel me? We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it's saying to me like he be defending himself. Does he do it in the right way all the time? Maybe not. But once you do something to somebody, you can't tell that man how to react though. Like,
agreed.
Don't provoke me and then try to regulate the rules of the provocation. You feel me? Like, I'm on you. Like, however you feel me, I feel like I need to come. I'm coming. You feel me? And I think his whole point was like, I may not be no street dude, whatever y'all talking about, whatever y'all got going on. I may not be no killer, whatever, but I'm a man first at the end of the day, as you should be too. He asked Gilly that, you a street nigga first or you a man first, you feel me?
Yep.
Oh, you not gonna threaten my life when I got family and people who love me, especially over online, over the internet. You're not gonna threaten like my life, and I'm just gonna supposed to sit back and they were trying to force him to apologize.
Right. Yeah, that was
and shit. Like, come on, dog. Like, I was on Akademiks side low key throughout the whole thing. You feel me? Well, I feel like y'all have like opposing views to that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I kind of feel the same way. I think the way he go about certain things is a little crazy, but in general, he is always on the defense.
Yeah.
And I gotta agree with him and side with him solely on the strength of that. Niggas is coming at him crazy, and he just responding with that same energy. You know, like even with, he didn't talk about this, but you know, like we all know about the Rory and Mal shit. They totally started that.
Fact.
That whole beat, and I was initially on their side, and then
he ended.
He ended it for a year. He ended it and then continued to end it for a year.
And once again,
and he was absolutely right. And that's what made me switch.
Crossed the line. You gonna pull up
Mealy
to
Mal.
my house? Well, apparently, Rory pulled up to his house.
Like what?
Yeah.
Put a little letter or something in his mailbox. Like, threatening him. Like, wait, what? You crazy?
That's
you
a fact.
Like,
It's different. It's different now.
Act when light. Act just talking to y'all crazy. That's light. That's light work.
Right.
You feel me? Like you all bets are off. You feel me? Like, I'm just talking to you still. That's light work.
Fact.
You pulling up on me like, you know where I'm at.
That.
Man, you feel me? I don't want to put that in the world. You feel me?
Right.
Like, God bless everybody. We love y'all, but yeah, you don't play them type of game, man. Coming to somebody's house.
Fact.
Dealing with somebody's family. Any of that, all bets is off. You feel me? All bets is off.
That shit's crazy, man.
What about you, Melage? What you thought about Akademiks? I guess his response or his take on the beefs that he's in.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with everything you said. Like, he's completely justified in feeling a certain type of way about it. It's just mostly like the response to it. Like, he said they kept going back about how he's not a street nigga, but he's a man first.
Yeah.
All of his responses are street nigga responses though. Like, the way he's talking to people, you calling them a bitch, you calling them a fake gangster. Like,
so crazy.
you can talk to them, you can assert yourself as a man without talking like that. That's my thing. And he set an example for, we talked about this before, he set an example for dudes younger than him who don't have the resources he has. They don't have the security he has. They don't have the weapons he has that he's licensed to. So I'm not snitching on him.
Yeah.
And they, like, he's also putting his own people in jeopardy because he has people around him that will protect him.
Right.
If you are inviting that type of energy to you, no matter what you like, I know they're started first, but you keep inviting it back. You can stiff arm them. You can stop it easily. You have the money to do it. You have the resources. You have the connections to do it. At this point, even though he says he doesn't fuck with anybody in the industry, with the amount of money he's getting, he knows people in the industry who can clearly end shit. He's inviting this shit back to him for entertainment purposes, and like.
I don't know if I'll say it's for entertainment purposes.
A lot of it, he said he's an entertainer. He said he'll keep talking shit like this. And I don't know. I just don't agree with that part.
But I think that's something he was saying in the interview too. Like, why is it always, like you even just said, like they may have started it, but he don't have to react. Why does it always fall on? Why does it always fall on?
Why I gotta be the bigger man?
He gotta be the bigger person because he's not a street. Only street niggas could talk or defend themselves in the way they want to.
I agree. That's true.
Like, you feel me? I don't consider myself a street dude, but ain't nobody gonna play with me. You feel me?
Right.
Like, you ain't gonna play with me. Like, I'm well protected. You feel me? Like, I'm not out here like dilly dallying with nobody. You feel me? But I'm not pressing nobody or pressing the issue with nobody. But if you bring it to my front door, you feel me? It's gonna be addressed. Like, simple as that. Simple as that. I don't consider myself street nothing, but I am a man. Just like you said, I am a man, and you're not gonna do me nothing. You're not gonna do my family nothing. You're not gonna come to my house or nothing. Like, it's red dots on your head. You feel me? Like, and that's not a threat. That's just what it is. Like, that's just what it is. So I'm still solidly on academic side. Like, you can't tell me how to react. Like, why do I gotta be the bigger person? Why do I gotta be the one who to chill out?
Right. Yeah. I'm not telling him to chill out. I'm just saying I feel like he's a really smart guy, and at some point he kind of knows what he's doing. Like I said, I feel like a lot of these beefs could be ended like that.
I agree.
Not like that, but they could. He does.
There's a path.
He does milk. He does milk a lot
together.
of the shit.
They got on the phone together. You see how that went?
Yeah, but my son, he said, "Look, we need to have a private conversation."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I know. I didn't like that part. Don't call. First off, don't call me while you're on your podcast.
And then talk about we're not trying to do this on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
you called me. You called me.
Okay, there's no like he tried his best to make it seem like it wasn't, but you called me like you could have called me before the show, after the show. The fact of the matter is, you called me during the show, so don't tell me it's not that type of deal. Like,
and it was obviously 1-on-3. That's what I didn't like. Like they clearly was on my son, my son's side from
they were saying that though. Like, this my man. Like, I really know him.
Yeah,
I really work with him. Like, I really be with him. They kept saying that. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna stand firm on the academic side. I'm not. You feel me? You can't tell that man how to react.
Fact.
And you can't force him to be the bigger man. You can't make somebody apologize. Like, no, we need to come to some understanding. I'm not just about to apologize and move on like until we got some type of understanding.
Right.
We got it. That's all they got to be at the end of the day is understanding where I'm coming from, where you coming from, and then we could possibly move on. But I'm not just apologizing and continuing to let people step on me. That's why Akademiks is the person that he is today, because he been kicked around for his whole life down there. His whole career.
That shit no more. He fed up.
He not having it. So I dig it. I'm on his side for sure.
I agree with that. I agree with both of y'all. Like I said, I'm gonna take his side anyway because he is coming from I gotta defend myself standpoint, and I will always agree with that. But he is old enough to understand like how you said what you said. First of all, what he be saying, but it really how he be saying it, like. You are adding fuel to the fire, even in defense of yourself. You are.
So what?
It was here, and you was taking it here. I get you on the so what. Like, if a nigga willing to defend himself no matter what, then there's no end to how far he willing to take it. So I understand that point, but it's like if you. Where are the niggas that's men, but also willing to diffuse a situation? I think that might be the thing about him. It's like when we think of a nigga acting like a man, I'm going to stand on my own, but I'm going to also try not to go there. I'm going to try to bring it down. I'm gonna try to show some humility and some calmness and some like, all right, let's bring it down a notch.
Try to come
He
to
like, nigga, fuck you niggas, it's this and it's up and it's and I get that. Niggas talking to me crazy, there's a sense of I need to match that. I understand that. But like I said, where's the niggas that's like, hey nigga, you ain't finna be talking to me like that. We ain't on that.
But just went back and forth with
many
people, but these people we talking about in particular right now, Mysonne, Freddie Gibbs, he drew a line in the sand, like you cross that line and it's all hell. You feel me? Like it's all hell after you cross that line. You talking about me personally, like you attacking me personally. So it's not just a simple fact like, oh, we had an argument or whatever. It's some sort of dispute.
Right.
Like you crossed that line. You crossed the line that I drew in the sand. You crossed the boundary. You feel me?
That's true.
So that's why I'm taking it there. That's why I'm acting like that. You crossed the boundary that I clearly drew in the sand. You feel me? I would ask, my question to y'all would be, what is the difference, I guess, in principle, I suppose, between a street guy and just a man? You feel me? Like, where did he cross the line from being just a man into getting into the street territory?
Act
for y'all, yeah.
Where did Act cross the line? From being a street guy and a man?
Even just in general, where's the line drawn between just being a man, standing up for yourself, to crossing over into now you getting into some street stuff?
I think, like I just said, I think it's largely the diffusing aspect of it. A street nigga, 9 times out of 10, ain't willing to diffuse shit, which is why we look at them the way we do. Part of the glitz and glamour of street niggas is that they willing to, it's up there and it's stuck. Just like how we say it's up and it's stuck. Like that's a founding principle of the life that these niggas live. Like I'm willing to take it there and keep it there. It is the nigga declaration of street nigga. Like I believe some shit like that. It probably is just some type of written code though. We know like niggas feel like that. I'm willing to go there with anybody on earth. If you look at me wrong, I'm willing to kill you. If you step on my shoes, I'm willing to kill you. You bump into me, I'm willing to kill you. You cut me off in the line, I'm willing to kill you. You grab the last bag of shit. Niggas have been killed over literally candy, shoes,
that's all.
clothes.
All of those lines are like low hanging fruit. Like that's all those lines are like.
But what I'm saying is, if bullshit constitutes me taking it there with you, then the most serious in terms of disrespectful situations that a man, like if something minor will get me to take it there, then if I feel like you really disrespected me as a man, I'm definitely willing to take it there. Whereas a nigga that's not a street nigga, that little petty bullshit probably won't make him take it there. And if you really did disrespect me as a man, it still probably won't go there because of the diffusing aspect. I probably got a cooler head to go, that was some bullshit, let that shit go, man. Keep pushing. Right? Or whatever interaction we had, if it was negative, it's like, you need to discuss that though. You know, I didn't fuck with how you did this. Exactly. You might feel the same exact nigga. Yeah, you was speaking on my name a little spicy there. Right. That's that conversation. Whereas a street nigga, fuck that conversation. I will never be willing to have that conversation. Because again, if something small and minute gets me there, then something major is going to get me there too. If I'm not willing to have a conversation with you when you accidentally step on my shoe, like I'm seriously willing to kill you in front of everybody for something that was literally an accident, then you disrespecting me intentionally as a man, fuck no, we not talking.
Right.
And so if both of us have that, if neither one of us is willing to talk and diffuse and be the bigger person,
then we have ourselves
it creates a nigga. I swear to God, I was literally finna say that. It creates that nigga moment.
We have a nigga moment. Right, that's the recipe.
Niggas shooting shit like.
So I agree and disagree once again, like, and I'm talking about me personally at this point. You feel me? Like, I don't consider myself street by any means. I'm not no gang banger, none of that. I'm not no street. Like, if you step on my shoe or something, excuse me, pardon me.
Right,
yourself.
Right. You're
tie your shoe real quick.
You ain't see a player sliding through. Excuse you. You
Facts.
feel me? But we gonna keep it cordial and keep it pushing. But everybody got a line in the sand, and everybody not no talker. Like I'm talking to y'all, we doing the show, you feel me? Y'all my people, so we talking, you feel me? But I'm not like this with everybody, like when I'm just out and about, and it could be a residual of where we grew up. We are from the West, you feel me? It could be a residual of that. I don't know. It could just be my personality. Everybody not no talker. If a certain line get crossed, I might not even let you know that line was crossed, but you gonna feel it, like you feel me, like you gonna know for sure, like you gonna feel it, you gonna feel the energy change, like you ain't gonna just be coming around me like on no regular cool whatever type of. I might not like super get at you unless you like address me or something, but it's so I don't know if that's like a man principle or a personality thing. Like I don't know if I could say it's a man principle that you talk shit through.
Right.
All the time, you feel me? Like, what was that about? Whatever. Like, I got a temper. You feel me? Like, I could be honest about that. I got a temper. Like, I'm cool. That's why I am the way I am. I'm cool. I'm chill, respectful to everybody. Cause I know I got a temper. You feel me? Like, if the disrespect is just to that level, you feel me? It's up. You feel me? It's up. It's not something so simple as stepping on my shoe or even bumping my shoulder. I don't know. Actually, if it's you feel me, like a busy hallway or something, you could bump my shoulder. Like like damn, but you feel me? I ain't tripping on nobody that. But everybody got their own line in the sand that if you cross it, you cannot control the reaction. You feel me?
I'd accept that as a more valid point than my point of somebody kind of need to be that bigger man to defeat. I think that's a more valid point. But in response to that, I would say, even still, just like how you just said, it be how that nigga is talking.
And
I think even you would agree. Oh, go ahead.
Going back to how you say he's always on defense. If you go to any like reputable gym where they teach proper self-defense, they'll teach you to get the fuck away.
You're right.
Don't try. If it does have to go to that, then make sure.
Neck.
Bite his
straight up,
shoot him, stab him.
Right.
But then after you're done with that, get the fuck away because he could have called backup.
Right.
It could get much worse. Like get away from the entire situation. He's inviting that shit to him. Like
he's opening the door.
He's saying.
Come on.
He's not explicitly saying like come. Well, yeah, he's pretty much saying pull up.
Pull up.
Like he's
pull up and I'm gonna shoot you.
Pull up and if you come to my house, I'm gonna shoot you because I have the right to.
Right.
That's not self-defense. You are inviting that shit to you.
Yeah, like
and you're putting other niggas' lives in jeopardy because there's other niggas in the house with you, and I'm just like, he's justified in how passionate he is about it. Like, you do have to assert yourself and stand on certain things as a man. But at the same time, some things just he really does.
He wants that conflict. I think that's the difference.
And he's smart enough to make it seem like he's not trying to.
Yeah.
Like he
knows how manipulative.
He manipulates it. He makes it seem like, why are you guys coming at me? I'm just the media guy, or y'all are trying to bully me. But at the same time, he knows what he's doing. Like he's smarter than most of these dudes. And Meek Mill, Freddie Gibbs, he's smarter than all of them.
This media shit better than all of them.
So he's been doing this shit for a while. That's just my stance on it. Another thing before, and then I'll let y'all go. When you were talking earlier about being a man and learning how to like diffuse shit, that reminded me of a bar in that song. What's it called? Love All by Drake and Jay-Z. That Jay-Z said. He said, I pulled it up right now. He said, best thing I can do is not build with you when I could destroy you. That takes some fucking discipline. That's exactly what it reminded me of. Like, obviously, we all don't have the money that Jay-Z has to just have the
literally
option.
Destroy somebody.
Yeah,
I don't got to know.
But that's some real man shit. Like, I could just kill you and be done with you, but I have the discipline not to. Like, there's so much I could.
There's so much that comes with
so much at cost. Yeah, like with your soul, with your conscience, you could take a man away from his family just for some bullshit.
Right.
And that takes discipline. No matter how hard he disrespected you.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
In order to just brush that shit off, that takes a lot of discipline and a lot of growth.
I think at the end of the day, it's all about what you decide to take serious, like what you decide to take is that serious and what isn't. You feel me? Like you said, street dudes. You feel me? Anything, the color you wearing, touching them in any way, like on accident, stepping on a shoe, brushing a shoulder, anything. Literally anything. You feel me? So, like, as a man, I feel like what it is it's really like setting in stone as a man. It's like it's a few things. You feel me? Like your family.
That's pretty much the priority system that we're talking about. Really.
Yeah.
Like, just how you can budget with finances, you could budget with your decisions and like the way
what
your
you give
emotions
time and
and
energy to.
Yeah, that's real.
Budgeting your time and energy, that's just as important. That's
like,
a fact.
If I'm investing this much time to my name on the street, then that's probably why they feel a certain way about those things. Because like, this is all I have. Like, I remember we were talking a while ago about the whole thing with Nipsey. Like, Nipsey has businesses, he has plenty of money. The dude who shot him, he just has a hood. And,
Facts.
And Nipsey pretty much called him a bitch in front of everybody in the hood. So,
your name is shitty.
Yeah. Consequences.
That's a fact, though. That's a fact. Budgeting your time and energy, I fuck with that.
That's gonna be the title of the pod.
Yeah, facts. I fuck with that. Yeah, so I like I said, I agree with y'all, man. I agree with y'all, but I also agree with Axum. It's like
we all agree with him. I think we are all firmly on his side. I think I'm firmly on his side, but could totally see why somebody would be against that nigga too.
Yeah.
I think that's how I see it. Like that's why I said when it's all said and done, I'm on this nigga side. Because I agree. If niggas is coming at me, don't tell me how to respond to the disrespect. Just like that's kind of what you was alluding to. Like, I got my line in the sand. It don't matter nothing else. I don't gotta talk. I don't gotta do nothing. I got my line in the sand, and if you cross that line, I'ma respond like this. I 100% agree with that. But just like you said, he is low key inviting some of that shit. Like, what is the line? I'll just say this, and you could go like, what's the line between I'm defending myself and I'm requesting and inviting and, dare I say, creating, prolonging certain scenarios, provoking certain scenarios. Like, I think there is a little bit of that in his words. Even if it's 75% defense and 25% egging some shit on.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I started off by saying I see so much potential for him. I want him to reach that potential. I just don't know if he wants that for himself. And maybe these decisions is kind of what self-sabotage.
Yeah.
So,
what do you see for him? Like in my eyes, he done made it. Shit. You feel me?
Yeah. That is a good question. What do you see him doing?
Yeah. What do you see him?
I see him doing. I see him. He has his own business right now. But imagine if that shit grew to where he's on some higher than some Vlad type of shit where he's putting dudes on 401ks and like full on benefits and salaries and shit where like he has his own media conglomerate. I see that for him.
That's true. I can see that.
I don't think he's just a personality. I think he can be like a boss as well. Like, he can leave Spotify. The shit that Joe Budden wants to do, I can highly see Act can do. Like,
I don't know at the price point, not at $250 million. But I agree with you though. I can see him building something like Charlemagne.
Yeah.
Getting into some of those roles. Like, he might not be the number one nigga, but he is one of the most important niggas under
Ack actually said
tier
that.
one.
He mentioned that. He's like, Charlemagne is my, like, that's
like
the
his
guy. Like,
barometer,
that's
yeah. I could totally see that. Like, I'm finna try to model myself after this. I think he's bigger than a Charlemagne. When you think about Charlemagne's story, Charlemagne was on the Wendy Williams show. He was ugly, getting talked about. He was always getting bagged on. Like, he made a name by being disrespectful. Like, you needed that to kind of build your career on. Ack got 50 million different things to fall back on. Like, this defined who I am. This defined my journey. So he, in any sense of the word, if they were ever on a level playing field, they weren't. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you could make it as even as it possibly could have been, Act is still further than what Charlemagne was.
Yeah.
And so that's why I could totally see somebody feeling like Act got more potential to be bigger than him, because it's like he got more. He is the engine behind more things. Charlemagne ain't the engine behind nothing that he's ever done. He was an apprentice on the Wendy Williams show, and that was Wendy Williams. That name's still a household name. He is one of the members of the Breakfast Club. He might be your favorite one, but he isn't the defining factor of that show.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so I could kind of understand why somebody look at Act like, yeah, he could really boss the fuck up. He is already bossed the fuck up in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
That nigga not hurting for nothing. He don't need to do more.
Yeah, he does.
He could do what he is doing,
He can
stay there,
yeah.
and life would be so peachy keen for him. Like, nothing would be wrong. But he does have that potential to probably turn it up a notch or two and really 50 mils. Yeah. I could totally see some shit like that.
And when, like I said, he can expand outside of hip hop, but hip hop will forever be his foundation.
Yeah, for sure.
And if he does grow to that level, then everybody who sees it will know that like hip hop was a foundation of how he started.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's good for all of us. That's good for all black people. Like, everybody within our culture. So that's why I see for him. But like I said, if he doesn't see that for himself, and it's completely fine if he's comfortable where he's at right now.
Right.
That's fine too.
Yeah. Shit, if y'all want to move on, we can. But I was going. I don't know about all that Akademiks being bigger than Charlemagne. Shit, I don't know about all that.
In potential? You disagree?
You saying like down the road?
Yeah. I'm not saying right now. I'm saying he has the
okay,
potential to build something that could put him in that position, either or on the same level playing. I think right now Charlemagne is bigger than him.
Charlemagne
but
got his own shit. He got a TV show.
Yeah, that's what we saying.
Of
Act might be able to get to a point like that where he can kind of go tap into resources and put other people in position to.
Just because you said he ain't been like I don't know what was your exact term. Like he ain't been the face of nothing that he's done type shit.
The
he
engine,
got his own
yeah.
TV show. Like that's his shit. See the guys on the show. Like that's his shit.
Yeah,
for sure. His podcast, like that's him and Schultz. You feel me? But Schultz isn't now Andrew Schultz. But at the beginning, like that's Charlemagne. You feel me?
Right.
And his white homie. Niggas ain't know who Andrew Schultz was. But yeah, Charlemagne is a pretty big motherfucking deal. You feel me? You know, book publishing company. Like that nigga is in the game for real. Like he doing a whole bunch of shit. But yeah, I see what you mean though, about the potential. And it's just the different avenues they took. Like Axe Avenue was like hard for him to be by himself. Like I'm just streaming myself on Twitch or on whatever.
Yeah, he never had no code.
Like he wanted to do the podcast by himself, like just me and the guests. You feel me? Like me and whoever I brought on the podcast type shit. It's not like he. He probably do got episodes he just do by his goddamn self. He could.
Most of his Twitch streams are him talking by himself.
Drunk as fuck in his house.
Like this nigga can go on for 10 hours.